Leafs Nation, here we go. It's time for a little bit of the Offside Rant edition. Hey, we're live right now across the networks. We're on TikTok, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. Follow us on there. Here we go. Right out of the gate, I want to do this right here. We're talking about Martin Jones. And I talk about Martin Jones. Why do I say that? A lot of Leaf fans getting really excited about what Martin Jones has brought so far. But the issue that I have here with Martin Jones is the fact it's a small sample size. We know what he did last season with the Seattle Kraken. I'm excited for what he's brought. I'm excited for what he's doing. But at the same time, you got to pump the brakes a little bit, temper the expectations, because you're going to, again, run a guy to town, make this guy higher than he is, and then when he crashes, it's going to be the worst thing in the entire world. Enjoy what you have in front of you. He is steadying the net right now with Joe Wool is out. Ilya Samsonov trying to get the noggin figured out. But we got to just kind of put it in the middle. And there's a lot of people out there saying, hey, you got to kind of not respect what he's done. You got to be upset that the Leafs are on Jones. Hey, show the man a little respect as well. But what I'm saying is keep it even keel. Don't get too high and don't get too low. For me, you do that, you should be able to just enjoy what he's bringing to the Toronto Maple Leafs crease at the moment. But the Jones love and the Jones hate, it's so high and so low here in Leafs Nation. It needs to be even keel, in my opinion. I know he's killing it, but yeah, we need to keep it rolling here. For me, I look at Jones and say he's a great placeholder. I want to see what Hildeby can do. We will see what happens as we keep it rolling. The beast and the wool and the crease, that could be the thing soon. Hopefully we see Samsonov get back in the kill. Last night, there was a 5-minute penalty assessed to Bobby McMann for the hit that he threw along the boards against the young Ducks defenseman. This play happened, bang, bang, and they called a 5-minute major on what was going on that play. For me, it should have been a 2-minute penalty, easy, no problem, cut and dry, but 5 in a game. And you know why that became 5 in a game? Because of all the chicken shit little hits that have been happening lately from Cousins and other players around the league, and players are now having to take retribution into their own hands and deal with it themselves on the ice, just like Branson did and other players. And someone is going to get seriously hurt in doing this because the NHL is not policing this effectively. So right now, I look at it and say, what do you need to do on the ice? Last night, to me, was an overcorrection. You saw a hit, a guy got hurt, then you don't know what to do. So what do? You look at it and say, well, it's very easy to just assess a 5-minute major, throw him out of the game. A, you protect Bobby McMann, but B, you make it so the other team cannot seek retribution and have another player kicked out of the game, because look what happened to Nick Cousins. He goes and gets flattened for the cheap shot hit he threw the other night, and now that other player is Zucker from Arizona is now suspended for 6 games. I don't know what you need to do here, but the clear thing to me is you look at it and you say the NHL was not quick enough to react to what was happening. So then what happens beyond that? Now you need to course correct. And Bobby McMann may have been the first of many on the course correction for the NHL. And that kind of sucks to me, because that's where we're going to end up going now. It's going to be this situation where the NHL is going to have to keep doing these kind of things, throwing players out. And again, I talked to Dave Jackson, the ESPN rules analyst for the ESPN broadcast, and he said, it's completely arbitrary of what people call. Every ref has a different view, and unfortunately, you're going to get 50 to 60 different calls, where last night you saw everyone that was a former NHLer saying, looked like a pretty clean hit. Could you have called a 2-minute boarding? Yes. 5 in a game. Really seems like you're trying to police someone not being there. I fully understand that, but at the same time, it's like, if you protect the players to begin with, this is not a situation. But because it's been going on for so long in the NHL now this season, it has become a problem. And now the only way to course correct is to overcorrect. And you will now see that a la Bobby McMann last night. Again, you throw the player out. No retribution can be sought against Bobby McMann for that hit other than Lyubushkin, what he did. On top of that, nothing more can become of Bobby McMahon throughout that game. No other Ducks players getting in trouble. They gave the misconduct as well to Lyubushkin. I just don't like it. To be honest with you, I really don't like it. It just annoys me that you can't get in front of these things as a National Hockey League before they become a crazy, crazy issue. But I digress. The other things I want to talk about here, a player named Tyler Bertuzzi on the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I know this is a hot button one with a lot of people, whether you're on TikTok, whether you're on YouTube or X or Twitter, Instagram, it doesn't matter where you are. I look at it like this, and a lot of people are saying Bertuzzi's not living up to the hype. For me, I say yes, he is. He took a little while to get going. Are the points coming in droves? No. But for me, I look at it like this, and I say Tyler Bertuzzi is winning a lot of puck battles. He's doing all the greasy little work along the boards. He's doing a lot of greasy little work in the D zone, getting the puck back, great retrieval, all of those great things that you need out of a guy a la Zach Hyman at one point in life. Maybe a little Matthew Nyes, a little Michael Bunting. But he's doing that for that second line. And by the way, there's a guy in that second line named William Nylander who is thriving. And why are those things happening? Well, probably because you have guys like Tyler Bertuzzi digging out pucks, breaking up plays, and making it better for the team overall. So for me, I look at it and say, Tyler Bertuzzi, the points are not fully there. They're starting to come. But right now, he's just a guy who's digging for the puck and doing what he needs to do. So I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Tyler Bertuzzi. He's coming around. Leafs Nation, calm down on Tyler Bertuzzi and enjoy what you got. Another guy is Matthew Nyes. Yes, we're going down the sandwich board. Matthew Nyes. He's a rookie in this league. He's getting his feet wet. First time he's going to taste 82 games as a player. He's playing with Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner. I see a lot of Habs fans chirping and saying, well, he's playing with two of the best players in the world. He should be putting up more points. He's a good player. He should be doing these things all the time. And, he's tied with Slavkovsky. Slavkovsky was a first overall pick. He should be hammering it out of the park, in my own opinion. So I don't understand why you're chirping a guy like Matthew Nyes as a Habs fan, for one. And for two, I look at it and say, what are you trying to do here? What are you trying to prove? Matthew Nyes is learning how to be an everyday NHLer on the fly, on a first line in Toronto, by the way, with the big spotlight. He's not doing too shabby. My projection for our Matthew Nyes for the season, I looked at it, said probably 20 goals, maybe 15 assists, get his feet wet, play big numbers, or big minutes with those two big guys, and get your feet wet. He's learning how to use his body. We see the drive to net in the Pittsburgh game. He's really working the boards. He's great at stripping the puck, playing defensively. He's doing all of those right little things that out of a guy like Matthew Nyes. So to sit there and chirp this kid and say, well, he should be Slavkovsky. Well, Slavkovsky should be a premier player for the Habs, in my opinion. If you're the first overall pick, you should be putting up some points. Hello, Shane Wright, where you at? He should be doing the same thing, even though he's fourth. But I look at it and say, right now, a guy who was selected 53rd overall, pretty excited to see what he can do. Let's just let him fester, let him grow, and let him go, because he's going to turn into a pretty decent power forward, in my opinion. Now to move on to the All-Star game. Stoked that Austin Matthews got picked, okay? 100%. Guys leading the league in goals should definitely be picked, but feels like William Nylander is always second. This guy's tearing it up. Fifth in league scoring. He's not there. So we need to change the name of the All-Star game, because it's no longer the All-Star game. It is the every team gets to send a player to put them on a pedestal game, because to me, it's not an All-Star game anymore. If the best players in the league are not there because you have to pick a player from each team, it's no longer the All-Star team. It's every team gets to send a representative and put them in the front of everybody. That's what it is. I don't understand how you can call it an All-Star game if all of the stars are not going. So I'm just saying, you got to really change this up. You got to figure it out. Find a way to do it. If you want to get a guy voted in, cool. That can work. but you should have all of the best players there to give fans the best possible product and watch the NHL All-Star game. It's just not the All-Star game. It's the all team send a representative game, and that's just it. It's crazy. That's exactly what it is. I don't understand, for me, just vote guys in. It's happening over on TikTok and people mentioning vote guys in, do different things. Hey, players aren't there. It's Abinajad, Marner, Pedersen, Fox, and Riley, all kinds of different guys that should be there that are not there. And it's just mind-boggling to me why they are not. This is a complete rant show, so it's not like the regular structure. So if you're looking for fluidity and perfectness, it's not going to happen. This is out the top of my head and just being kind of cranky about certain things. So, for me, it's the all-team game. It's not the all-star game. Call it what it is. That's the end of the story. Will the fantasy draft be fun? Yes, it will. Of course it will. But other than that, next thing I want to talk about, and this may be an issue for some people, and that is completely okay. I don't like watching good people get run off of social media by Leaf fans or by any other fans who think they are better than someone else or just talk crap because they want to talk crap. For some people, it does affect them. And you might know who I'm talking about, Curtis from Alberta. I know you might be watching, my friend. Tip of the cap to you. I know you're taking a break. A lot of verbal abuse, a lot of things being thrown at you. Don't like seeing that stuff. I think it's absolutely gross. I mean, how do you do that to someone, especially like Curtis from Alberta, who's a guy who comes on, he does giveaways, he's firing everybody up, he's excited, he's happy, he's the epitome of being just a fan of the team and enjoying himself and having a good time. And people have the audacity to cut him down, call him names, call him an alcoholic, call him all these stupid things. Like, how do you know? Do you even know the man? Do you even know who he is? And the fact of the matter, you got to sit there and be negative. It's just ridiculous. It's gross that people would do that kind of stuff. So I will say this. If you are going to sit there and cut someone down, take a deep, long, hard look in the mirror and make sure you're 100% satisfied with yourself before you go and talk crap to somebody else. That's all I have to say on that one, man. It's just sad. A lot of good creators that I've seen over on TikTok as well being run off there. So, yeah, it's just wild, man. And then the last thing I want to talk about on the podcast here, and then I'll switch over to TikTok Live, have a little fun with the people over there. If you want to come join us afterwards, definitely do so. Jen versus Jamal. So Jennifer Botterill versus Jamal Myers last night, the debate. It's raging on, of course, over on Twitter and on TikTok and everywhere else. And I'll say this. I know I'm saying that a lot, but it's just what I do when I'm doing this off the whim of my head. There were certain parts of both people's arguments that you can take and say, that is correct. That is correct there, and that is correct there. For me, I look at it and say, Jennifer Botterill was right that you do not just high stick a guy and openly admit that you are going to or did do it on purpose to high stick a guy in the face-off dot. Gross. Just gross. There's no part for that in our game. There's no, hey, this is what you get. This is retribution. This is what we're doing to show you that you don't hit one of our star players. There's no room in the game for high sticking somebody in the face, period. Absolutely, period. There is no room for that at all. Now, the other side of things, too, is yes, there is retaliation. Yes, there is retribution, but it's usually in the form of hits or fights or guys going after guys. It's not stick work. It's not that kind of stuff. That was greasy. So I get Jennifer's argument. Her saying, well, if your son got sticked in the face, and Jamal saying, well, then he'd learn a lesson. I don't think you'd feel that way, to be honest with you. So I look at it like this, and I say, what you need to do in that game is start policing the penalties properly. Start doing the right things 100% and seeing where it goes from there. But outside of that, using your stick on a face-off dot and openly admitting that you did it is not the way you go. Not at all. So, ladies and gentlemen, over on Twitter, on Twitch, and on YouTube, I hope you enjoyed the little rant podcast. Some topics there. Feel free to chew on them, send me a message, whatever you need to do. So, go ahead, have some fun. On the other side of things, I want to say this. You know what it is around here. It's Go Leafs Go. Hit the follow. And this is Offside Hockey Talk, where the Maple Leafs and hockey come to talk and sometimes rant. I don't think anyone really gives a rat's Dudley.